All right, and we are live, and here we go. Okay, so I'm basically going to make a Pokemon kind of clone. I mean, it's going to be text-based, and it's going to be in C Sharp, and so we're using Visual Studio. I already created the project, and then I was kind of doing some audio tests, so I did some comments. But anyway, so we're all set and ready to go. Uh, I did the don't use top level statements when I started the creation for .NET 7. So it put program in main for me already, and then it didn't include system dot, so then the console.write line wasn't working. We're just going to delete this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Um, and then I'm going to do a public here, and I guess just for right now, we'll do a system.console.write line, and this will be a test, and then a read line, system.console.read line, just to make sure that our program runs, everything looks good. Yep, so I see test down there, and that means we're good. We're ready to start. So I want most of this to live in like a separate project, and it's going to be like a library that we can use in other projects. So the console is basically, this console app is going to be just like a client that's going to use the service. So I'm going to add a new project, and this is going to be a library, and it'll be a class library in C# is good. .NET 7 is good, and it can stay in the solution, is fine. And this will be, so I guess I'll give it the same name, Twitch Pokemon RPG battle system. So this will be the battle system we'll work on today, and the console will end up using it. But the battle system is going to handle things like type matching and kind of calculating damage and stuff like that. And I misspelled um, the name here, so let me rename this. Twitch. So that says Twitch Pokemon RPG battle system. Good. Okay, and then of course this is messed up, so let's fix that. I mess it up everywhere. I see. That's good. Okay, that's good, and then that's good. All right, we're good, good, good. So class 1 we can delete. We don't really need that, and we're just going to make a new one anyway. So we'll delete class 1, and we will add a new class. And this class is going to be our basically the battle manager. Sounds good. And this battle manager is going to be responsible for kind of those calculations on damage. So that'll be the battle system. Let's make a new project as well. And this will have just our models, shared models that we can use across projects. This can also be a library, is fine. And we will call this one same. All of these are going to have the same name, but then we'll put a dot and then whatever we're doing. So this will be models, or it could be entities also. Um, but I'm going to use models, I guess, models. And the benefit of this is we can really kind of focus in on our unit tests or whatever kind of tests we're going to run. We're not going to have those now, but just kind of preparing for it in the future. So we have class 1, we're going to delete again. That's just kind of what they give you when you make a new project. And now we have models. Sometimes you'll see in the project that you might have just a folder that's called models. And I do that most of the time, but if we're going to have something that we're going to intend to share later on, it's better to just give it its own project. So the console is going to reference both of these, but models doesn't care about console, and models probably doesn't care about battle system. But one thing we need is a monster, so let's add class, and we will just make a base monster class. So we can either say base monster or monster base. Let's say base monster. And this is what every monster is going to have or do. So public abstract class base monster. We don't need the constructor for now, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. And every monster is going to have a couple things. One of them is going to be, so I'll type prop tab, and that kind of gives you a shortcut on like a property. So public int, and this will be kind of like its number, as you might see in like a Pokemon Pokedex. So public int and then the property name we will just say, I guess ID is good. So a comment above this, this will be like the Pokemon number. Okay, every monster is going to have a name, so we'll do prop again, prop tab, and this will be a string name. Every Pokemon will have basically a type, which we don't have types yet, so we'll hold off on that. So they have a name, they have an ID. Let me just open up an app here and see what else we can add. We don't have to get too crazy yet because we don't really have any functionality. But let's see, stats. So they all, okay, so they all have health, right? So let's do int, and we'll just call it HP, and then public, or just prop tab, int, and they have like an attack stat. They have a defense stat. Pokemon has like special attack and special defense. We're gonna just kind of hold off on that. And they also have a speed, which is important for determining who goes first in a battle. So speed, get set. And then let's comment all these. So name is simply just the monster's name. The Gang of Four would not approve of that comment. So it's letting us know that this is a non-nullable string, which is weird because of course strings are nullable. But we're gonna leave it the way it is. HP, this is the health. Attack, so really the attack is for physical attacks in Pokemon, but here we're gonna do it for all attacks and then maybe split it out later. But for now, this is just gonna be the base attack stat. And then in parentheses, just so we know, this is going to be physical and special. So basically all for now. And that's the same for defense. So a base defense stat. This is physical and special, but like Pokemon differentiates these. And so like the physical attack goes against the physical defense and special attack goes against special defense. And then we have speed. So this is base speed stat. And then we're going to say used to determine round order. And we say round order because every round speed can be manipulated, whether it's like a buff or an item. And if speed goes up, then the next round they might go first, and vice versa. If the speed goes down, they might not go first. Okay, so every Pokemon has this stuff. They have more like location and things like that. Oh, let's do type. So every Pokemon has a type, so let's add a new class. And for now, let's see, let's think about this. What are some attributes of type? I think just like name. I guess it could have like an icon. Yeah, let's make it a whole class. So this will be a monster type. Monster type. And should it be an enum? I think maybe it should be. I guess for now, let's make it an enumeration just for ease. And then we'll come back. So let's change public class monster type to public enum monster type. And we will just add a couple different types. So, you know, like if we were to do like generation 1 and not go into steel and all of that stuff yet, we have grass, fire, water, normal. Normal should have been first because it's the most boring. Ice, electric, flying, ground. Was rock a thing back then? I think it was, right? Onyx was rock. Um, grass, fire, water, psychic, fighting, ghost. Oh boy. Psychic, fighting, ghost. Let's see, what else was there? Dragon. Did I cover them all? I don't think dark was a thing yet. Fairy was a thing. Yep, fairy. Dark may have been a thing. I don't know. Let's leave it at this for now. So every monster is going to have a type, so we can just set that right at the top. Public monster type, and get set. And this will be the Pokemon. Basically, it's its attack type. No, it's defense type. We'll just say Pokemon type. Okay, and then that will work for just like a basic monster outline. And then a battle system, so our battle manager needs to do a round. So we also need a few more things. So we need, so instead of, well, not instead of, but every Pokemon can learn 4 moves or currently have 4 moves. So it needs a move list. And the move list is basically composed of attacks, but they're not all attacks. They're just moves. So let's call it moves. Um, a battle move. We'll call it a battle move. And a battle move is going to have an ID, int ID get set. It's going to have a monster type. And maybe some monsters have a primary type and a secondary type. But let's not get into that yet. That's moving the goalpost. Um, all right, so a move has a name, public string name, get set. Um, it has like PP, I don't even know what those are, something points, power points or something. So we'll say public int PP, let's do max PP, get set, and current PP. Okay, let's see. Just thinking about like if you were in a round and you selected attack, then you have those 4 moves. You see name and PP and type. Oh, description, public string description, get set. Let me look at moves and like tackle, for example. Tackle has, oh, power, accuracy, and PP. Okay, let's do that. So it needs power, public int power, get set, public int accuracy, and it looks like those go up to 100. And then PP we have there, description. If it were to kind of like apply an effect, but we're not going to do that right now, maybe eventually. This has 2 types. Oh, I see it. So it's a normal type and then it's a physical attack. So once we get into like special attack or regular attack, then we will deal with that. But for now, we're not doing it, so we'll leave that out. Okay. So these battle moves, every Pokemon, so a base monster is going to have a set of moves. So public, virtual, and that's so that any children that kind of descend from this class can override, but they don't have to. I guess they should. Public virtual I list, and because it can just be generic, and this will be a battle move. Oh, you know what? Battle moves have kind of like a level that they get learned. So let's say public int. Oh, but does that happen? I guess if Pokemon learn moves at different levels, then that doesn't belong to be a property of the move. It belongs as something else. So we'll leave it off of there. And in fact, I don't think we need a list for this because they can only ever know 4. So we basically need, um, it could be a dictionary. It could be a list with 4 items that we control. I guess for now we can leave it as a list. Public virtual I list, and this will be a battle move. And we will just call this move list, get set. And as a comment, we can say up to 4 moves. that the monster knows. And we will add a to-do note. Whoops. Under summary, I suppose. Whoops. And this to-do note is going to be something like add controls / restrictions for learning new moves. And the purpose of this is like if you're going to learn a new move, you have to pick one to replace. And so that needs to happen here because it applies to every Pokemon. So it should happen in the parent class. So add controls restrictions for learning new moves. And then as kind of like a note, when learning a 5th move, it actually needs to replace one of the existing 4 moves. Yeah, okay. So that's good for there. And we need some information about the player. It doesn't necessarily have to have badges and stuff yet because this is just the battle system. But we do need some basically like higher level information about the player. So we can just do a base player. And I'm doing base player because we have base monster, and we might do like AI players if you're going to battle an AI. So abstract class base player, and sort of the same thing. I think Pokemon assigns players an ID, but that's for their network, like Nintendo Network. We're not going to deal with that yet, but we do need a string name or username, but we'll just do name for now. Get set. What else do they need? Well, they need like their party, right? So public, virtual, iList, and this will be base monster, and this is the player's party. Get set, and this also needs controls around it because you can only have a maximum of 6. So let's do a comment here. Party of, well, let's say current party of Pokemon, and it's a max of 6 and needs controls / restrictions, just like the other one. Controls / restrictions for replacing current or swapping. Let's say swapping because we're not replacing. Swapping new Pokemon with existing. So then we also need to like a box system, but not for the battle. So we're not going to do that yet. Let's make like a to-do, and we will put that in. I guess we'll just make a new class for now. And we'll call this storage box. And we will do like a class level summary comment to say this is like when you boot up the PC or whatever, then there are these storage boxes of Pokemon that you've caught. So they need to retain actual details about the Pokemon that was caught. So this is like storage PC that holds extra Pokemon that the player has caught. And this is a placeholder, so I'm going to get rid of the constructor and put like a flower box comment and just say placeholder. So we have the storage box. This will eventually matter, and it's kind of like a remind me that we're going to do this. So we have our monster base class, our player, which has a list of monsters, and then monster has a list of moves. So we need some moves and such now. So let's make a new folder, and this will be battle moves. So we could either, this would end up with some serious class explosion. So we should make like a factory that builds battle moves. Or link to a database. I think that's what we should do. If we link to a database, then we don't have to update the program to update the moves. We can just update the database, and the program would just read from any new data. So that's what we'll end up doing. but it needs to map to what we have, and so our battle move is a good start. Okay, so program, let's go ahead and like initialize our battle manager. So let's add a reference to our battle manager, our battle system, and our models. I mean, it needs to reference both. And so now that we have the reference, it's kind of doing that now. Then our program can initialize and use a battle manager. So let's do that. So we'll say var battle manager equals new battle manager, battle system dot battle manager. And then our battle manager should run a battle. So let's give it some way to run a battle. So we will say public void start battle. And this needs 2 Pokemon, or 2 players actually, right? Because the battle could have Pokemon coming in and out. So battle system needs a reference to our models. So add reference, link to models, and this needs to take 2 players. So it'll be base player. Whoop, let's do models. Did it not work? It did. All right, so we'll say base player, and then maybe it needs to import the namespace. Yep, sure does. Base player, player 1, and base player, player 2. Sounds good. And then this will end up starting a battle, but for now we're just going to say system.console.writeLine and starting battle between. And if we put this in, like put the $sign in front of this, we can use variables in our string. So we'll say player1.name between that and player2.name. Exclamation, and then we'll do a read line, system.console.readLine, and that'll just let our actual game know that like, hey, we've made it here, we're gonna start a battle and everything should be good. So battle manager, now we need to create 2 players. So var player 1 equals new, well, we need a human player and an AI player. Let's do 2 AI players for now, just to make it easy. So in our models project, let's add a new class, and this will be a human. Let's start getting organized. So let's make a folder, and this will be like players, and we'll move base player into players. And let's just update our battle manager to use players dot base player, which we're gonna have a temporary error, but we'll fix that right here. So we'll move models dot players, and now if we go back to our battle manager, that should go away, right? Um, I'm not sure how to read what just happened. I just heard something come in through Twitch. Oh, someone followed. Hi, Khaled. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat. I think I can see. Let's see. I can't really see the chat. It's like, here, let me load up Twitch and then we'll see if that works a little better. Okay, so I'm in the channel chat, so I'll see anything that comes in. I don't see anything that may have happened previously, but I'll see new stuff as it comes in. Anyway, so where were we? Battle manager, players. Yep. So let's rebuild models. I'm wondering if maybe that's the problem. Hmm. All right. Well, we will just import the player's namespace then. So you can get rid of players in front of base player, and then, yep, so we're good here. So battle manager, let's make sure we have using Twitch Pokemon RPG.models.players, and then when we start the battle, we can use our base players. We moved base player into the players. Uh, yep, I see the chat now. Okay, hi Khaled. Thanks for hopping in. You can ask any questions that if you end up having them. I guess I don't hear like an audio um, indication that you sent a chat, so I'll occasionally look over, and if I see you have anything in there, I'll try to stop and reply. So start battle, player one, player two. Okay, so we need uh, basically human players and computer players, but we're going to start with just the AI players. So we'll call this com player, and I did COM all caps. It doesn't matter if you do that or not, it's up to you. So a com player is going to extend from our base player, and it's going to basically it's a concrete class. It's going to have everything our base player has, which currently is just name and party, uh, but it's going to handle its own turn. So let's go back to Battle Manager. Nope, program, and we need to make our two players. So we'll say var player one equals new, and these will be com players for now. We need to import that namespace as well. So, and then var player 2 equals new com player. We want com players to kind of force us to provide a name because it really doesn't want our name to be null. So name equals name. And then we should have some errors here because we have to provide names. And so we'll just call this AI player 1, and we'll call this one AI player 2. Okay, both of these need a party. So let's do that now. Player one dot party equals new list, and these will be of base monsters, but we don't have any concrete monsters, so we need to create at least one. Maybe we'll give them some starter Pokemon. So let's go over to models and let's make a new folder. Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's not a distraction. I'm happy that you joined in. Let's see. So we will make battle monsters, or we can just call this the folder monsters is fine. And this might end up needing another like a factory, just because I mean Pokemon has, I don't know, like 800 different Pokemon, and I mean that would just be obnoxious to have a separate class for each one. But for now, we're going to make some kind of mock data, and so in here let's do well, we're going to move base monster in, and then let's make just the 3 starter Pokemon from Generation 1. So we'll do Bulbasaur, and we'll make another one, and he will be Charmander, and we'll make another one, and it will be Squirtle. And let's move base monster in here, and let's update the namespace. So the namespace is currently Twitch Pokemon RPG.models, and let's just add .monsters. And then we're going to have maybe some issue if we go into our players and base player. Base monster is now a little messed up because it doesn't know where that is. So let's just add monsters in front of there. And now we have that. That's all good. Battle move, let's go ahead and move that over to battle moves, which we could rename to just moves to be consistent. So let's do that. So we have that folder battle moves we made earlier. Let's just delete battle and keep moves. So we have battle move in there. Let's update the namespace to add moves. And then we're going to have another issue. So if we go to the base monster, it's not going to recognize this battle move anymore, but let's add moves dot in front of there, and that will solve that. So we have our moves list is an iList of moves dot battle move. Okay, so back to our monsters. Base monster is already kind of fleshed out. So we have our three starter Pokemon. We have Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. These don't have to be their own classes because Base Monster already kind of handles everything we need. But we do kind of want, let's see, I guess monsters, I guess they don't need to be abstract. If you've created these three, let's delete them. Uh, so we have Base Monster here. Base Monster doesn't have to be abstract. Um, it doesn't even need to be a base, but it's fine. We're going to leave that because I don't want to go too far into just like correcting words. But let's get rid of abstract so that we can actually instantiate some of these. And then we're going to add a constructor at the bottom. And this constructor needs to have the same name. So battle monster, public base. That's right, base monster. We should name it battle monster. That sounds great. All right, rename. All right, this is a battle monster. And that renamed the constructor, but it didn't rename the file for me. It may have for you, but if it didn't, just take a look. Battle monster. And in here, we basically want all of this. We want, let's generate a constructor, because if we generate a constructor, then it'll kind of do all of the properties for us. So if we click, I pressed Alt Enter, and yours is probably the same. Well, on Mac, it's Options Enter. And then I picked Generate Constructor, and it's going to say, do you want to use all of these properties? And we do. I'll click Add Null Check, and then I'll say OK. And it's going to make sure name isn't null. If it is, you get an argument exception, which is good. Move list, it can't know nothing, but we don't want it to throw a new argument exception. There is a move called struggle. So if move list is empty, we're going to add struggle. So let's add a new move because it'll be shared kind of all over the place, and we'll call it struggle. This is under the moves folder. And struggle is a battle move. And these battle moves also need that constructor, I would say. So let's add a constructor to battle move. Public battle move. No. We're going to generate like we did. So Alt Enter, add constructor, add null check. Okay, so these battle moves have to have all of its information passed in. I think name should come pretty much first, but it can be after ID. ID is typically, before, I mean, ID is typically first. Name is like, the benefit there is if you have code that you can't really see all of the text to the right, at least name is there because it's much easier to read a name than an ID. So struggle now has an issue because it needs to pass all of that into the base constructor. So struggle, it's going to be our very first move. So ID 1 could be even be 0, but I don't like to do that. Its name is going to be struggle, and let's do like property names as our parameter names while we're in here. So name is that. What's the next one that it wants? It's like, let's see. If I generate constructor, and then we'll just do it like this. ID is 1. Name is struggle. Struggle type is normal, I'm pretty sure. Actually, this is supposed to be base. That's my bad. Okay, so type is supposed to be normal, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, look at that. We could have just been doing that right here. All right, struggle max PP, I think is like infinite, right? Let's say -1. Uh, and current PP we will also say is -1 because it's like the default move, but it causes damage to the user. Description, so let's for now just say that. Default move when a battle monster is out of moves, inflicts damage to, damage to the target as well as the user. All right, power is very low. Let's say 10. And accuracy is 100. It never misses. Okay, so let's get rid of Squirtle up here. Um, Battle monster. Okay, so if move list is null or empty, really. So let's not do a null coalesce and let's check. We'll just check above here. So we'll say if move list, the move list that came in as a property is equal to null, or sorry, different keyboard, so it's a little bit different. Or move list.count is equal to 0. Then we need to say move list equals new list, and this will be a battle move, not monster. Battle move, and it has a new struggle. Okay, and then we can set move list. Okay, so we have some COM players, we have um, a way to flesh out some battle monsters. Let's let's make some factories. So let's make a new project. And this will be a library again. And this will be the monster repository. Let's just call it services. So this will be Twitch Pokemon RPG .services. So services is going to be responsible for pretty much everything, like data delivery, data manipulation. So when we go into the database to grab Pokemon, we don't always want our data at rest to match the data that we show the user. That's the job of the UI, is to dress up that data to make it look nice. Users almost never care about IDs except for Pokemon numbers. But they do care about, like names being capital first letter and all lowercase rest of the name. But at rest, when we're storing that stuff, we don't need to worry about that. So that's what services is going to do. So let's delete this class1.cs and let's make a new folder in here in our services. Nope, not new file. New folder, add new folder. And this will be repositories. Nah, I mean, services is already the namespace. So let's see, Twitch Pokemon RPG .services dot. Let's see if we needed to get yeah, I really feel like it should be another project called repositories. So let's add that. File, add new project. And this will be another library, and this will be repositories. Oh, and then we're going to rename this because we forgot the Twitch Pokemon RPG .repositories. All right, perfect. Same thing, we can get rid of class 1, and now we can make a couple repositories. We need a battle monster repository, so file, new file. This will be a class, and we will call it battle monster repository. This whole project needs access to our models, so let's add that reference. again, the reason why we have so many projects in our solution is so we can isolate the code and unit test at a smaller level. So repositories wants to look at models, and our battle monster repository is going to be able to handle your CRUD operations, create, read, update, and delete. So um, let's add an interface, add a new file, and this is going to be an interface, and we're going to call it iRepository. And repositories have like a couple responsibilities. So it's going to be aware of its type. So put a like a type definition here. So this will be public interface iRepository T. And then we will just say where T is class for now, or we'll say new. All right, so we have the CRUD operations. So CRUD operations are like T, and then so just get is fine, right? So we're going to retrieve a basically like a something based on ID. Um, so this will be an int ID, and we should ensure that the thing has an ID. So we want T to be forced to have an ID. So let's go over to models and let's add a new interface here. And let's call it I, because that's naming convention for an interface. It starts with an I. And then the actual um, interface is going to be called identifiable. So I identifiable. And all it does is just assures anybody looking for it that whatever implements the interface has an ID. For some reason, it's not letting me create this. I suppose we will try again. File, add, new class, identifiable. Okay, and all this is going to do is ensure that whatever is using it has an ID, get set. So int ID get set. So now in our iRepository, we can say where T is a class, but implements the identifiable interface. So now we can be sure that T has an ID. Okay, next thing. We want to save something. So save can either be like a Boolean response saying like, hey, the save was successful, or it could be an int response to return the ID, but we're going to kind of handle the IDs ourselves. No, you know what? Let's return an ID. So we'll say int. So save could either be a create or like a create or update. But we want to be careful. We don't want to just always update. Let's just call it save is fine. We will give it a T item, and then an optional Boolean allow update equals true. All right, so this needs a comment to explain what we're doing. So this will save an item by create or update if allow update is true. Otherwise, it will return an error if the item already exists. So this will allow us to prevent overwriting, because we don't always want to just save if the IDs are the same. If there's like an issue later on, we would lose the data in the database because we would just overwrite it. So we don't really always want to allow that, but we do want to give ourselves the option. So we have a way to get an item, we have a way to save an item, we need a way to delete an item, but we're not really actually doing that yet. So let's just, well, we need a way to get all. That's another thing. So let's do ilist t get all, and that's just going to return every item in the repository. And I'm being generic here because this is also like a move repository, a monster repository, stuff like that. Eventually items, right? Like potions. All right. So let's get into our battle monster repository. We can delete this constructor, and we will implement this repository interface. Uh, but instead of it being just like T, it's going to be a battle monster. And then we'll have to do like a quick fix to bring in that uh, namespace, and we're good. The next error we're going to have is because it's missing all of those interface methods. So let's go ahead and add those. And get rid of all of these non-implemented issues, and here we are. So battle monsters, it's not going to let us actually do this because battle monster doesn't implement identifiable yet. So let's fix that. Go into monsters, battle monster, and just implements identifiable. So that solves the requirement that we have here. And now we can just return, well, let's create a local list here. So this will be a private list, and this list will be of battle monsters. And we'll just call it monsters for now. And this is a new list, and this will be just a, basically this list will get generated every time we create a new repository, which we're only going to do at the beginning. And this monster, eventually this is going to come from the database, but we're not setting up a database yet. But let's make our 3 monsters now. So we had a Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander. So let's do that. So we have new battle monster, and it wants everything that it had. So Bulbasaur was number 1. I see. We need to go into there and move the name and type. We need to switch them just for consistency. So go into battle monster, and in the constructor, we're just going to move type to behind name. So we have battle monster, and then in the constructor, it's int ID, string name, monster type, type. Okay, so since that has updated, now we can do this. So we have Bulbasaur. Its type is grass. And then he has some base HP, attack, defense, and speed. So let's say his base HP is, I don't really know. We could Google the Pokedex, but we should do that, right? Like I mean, if we're gonna get close, we might as well get close. So let's see, Bulbapedia, I think. Bulbapedia. Um, I'm just gonna here. I'll pull this over to our screen here so we can see. Okay, so we want Bulbasaur, and we are interested in his moves. Let's see. Is that learn set maybe? Let's try. Yeah, look at that. Um, well, not his moves, right? We want his stats. We're not at moves yet. Let's go back. We want his stats. So that is here, base stats. All right, 45. Holy moly. Is that real? At level 1? Okay, that seems kind of high. So I'm going to move this over to the side. It looks like his HP is 45. That just seems obnoxious, kind of. His attack is 49. His defense is also 49, and his speed is 45. And then he has a move list. So we'll say new um, list, and this will be, whoops, of battle moves. Battle move. And import the namespace for this as well. And now we'll add a couple moves. So let's go back to this. And we're going to get those moves from the move repository, I think. But let's see. So his learn set looks like he has tackle and growl at level 1. And so we can create these moves. And I think actually all 3 starter Pokemon have the same thing. So let's create these moves in another repository first. So let's do add new class, and this will be a battle move repository. That means our moves needs to implement the identifiable interface, and so then we can go to our battle move repository. It will be an repository of battle moves. Whoops, press the wrong buttons. And then, of course, we have to implement the interface, and we will make a private move list here as well. So battle move. All right, let's make tackle and growl for now. So we need a new battle move, and it wants an ID. Well, one is struggle. So let's just add struggle here. All right, and then the next, nope, not struggle, but battle move. All right, so 2 will be tackle, and its type is normal still. Let's go to this. Ordering the params, I see the question here, Khaled. Ordering the parameters, it doesn't matter, but I like to have ID first and then name second, and then all the rest of the parameters don't matter. I like to have this because if our screen, for some reason, was, I don't know, maybe we had multiple things open, um, the 2 most important, in fact, I think the name is probably the most important for our purposes. The 2 most important are ID and name. I can't tell you what the move is going to be when we just see IDs, and so we'll see maybe like 2, 3, 4, 100, 200, 300. I don't know what moves they are, but tackle, that's pretty descriptive of what name it is. So I like to have, for readability reasons, uh, the first 1 or 2 parameters to be, um, descriptive of what it is. And then all the rest of them, I mean, like I said, it doesn't really matter how they are after that. So our type is normal, and I'm going to go back to this Bulbapedia thing. And we'll just click tackle. Let's see if it gives us some details about it. It does. Look at that. All right. So PP is 35, power is 40, accuracy is 100. Very good. So I guess for constructor purposes, max PP and current PP are the same. I mean, it's almost always going to be that way. So let's go ahead and change that. Let's go into our battle move, and let's just get rid of current PP as a parameter in the constructor, and just both of these will use max PP. All right, and then we will go back to our repository and get rid of this one. All right, so max PP 45. Description. Let's just take it right from Bulbapedia, because I mean we're pretty much doing a huge copy anyway. Let's see. Does it have a description? I mean, when you click, like go to use it, hmm. I don't know. I thought that they did, right? Like, I thought moves had descriptions. Description. Oh, yeah, look at that. So like, fire red, leaf green, a physical attack in which the user charges full body into the foe. A normal type attack. Many Pokemon know this right from the start. Nah, I don't like that. A full body charge attack. I like that. I'm gonna do this. Ruby, silver. What is that? Ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Charges the foe with a full body tackle. A physical attack. Yeah. All right, talk me into it. Here we are. I'm gonna grab this one. A physical attack in which the user charges full body into the foe. We'll put that here. And what do we have left? Power and accuracy. Well, we saw that power, I believe, was 45. Nope, 40. And accuracy is 100. Okay, so that will take care of tackle. The next one is a new battle move, and this was growl. So we'll just give it ID of 3. Growl. I think it's also in normal. And it's not going to have, I'm pretty sure, it's not going to have like a power, if I recall correctly, but let's go back. There we go, growl. And we see, yeah, power is 0, PP is 40, and accuracy is 100. Max PP was 40. Description, we will come back to. Power is empty, and accuracy is 100. All right, let's grab that description. And let's see, the user growls in a cute way, making the foe lower its attack stat. A move that lowers the target's attack power can normally be used up to 6 times. Interesting. I didn't know that that was a thing. The user growls in an endearing way, making the foe less wary. The target's attack stat is lowered. That's nice. I like that. Oh, attack stats are lowered, like special and regular. Well, I'm gonna grab this one from, I don't know, Diamond, Pearl. Don't know what PT is. Platinum, maybe? Yeah, Pokemon Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, all that. All right, I'm gonna grab this one, copy, and I will paste it over here. The user growls in an endearing way. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we have these moves so far. Struggle is, I mean, struggle is a move, but we are not going to bring that into our move set. But I suppose we will keep that here. Everyone is going to know it, basically. Um, yeah, everyone's going to know it. Let's go to our monster repository. Okay, so Bulbasaur right now at this level, every Pokemon or every battle monster needs to be able to track its current level, right? So let's add that property. Public int level get set. And we'll make a comment here, and this is the experience level. We'll have an experience engine because, I mean, that's something that's shared across all Pokemon, is like the experience ladder, right? Every time they are going to level up, they just have to get a certain number of experience and then they'll level up. Anyway, so here we are. Battle move repository is good. Well, it's not. I mean, let's go ahead and return some things. So for get, let's say if moves dot any, or we don't even have to do that. We'll just say return moves dot where. We could also use a find, but this is fine. M dot ID is equal to ID dot first or default, and this will return null, which it actually doesn't like that. It's going to say like that's non-nullable. Possible null. Yeah. So let's go to the repository and update all of these. Right? Is that what you're saying? Nullability doesn't match the implementation. Yeah, let's go to, whoops. Go to definition. And I didn't know this was going to happen. Let's unpin these. Let's see, this could be nullable. Can I do T question? Let's see, save. And then if we go over to here, battle move question. Yeah, that's good. All right, so this could be null. I mean, if it's not, we're gonna have an issue, but get all is just gonna return all moves. So return moves. And save is going to add the item into our moves list. So, and then it's going to return the ID. So let's check first if moves.any, and well, also we want to know if item.id is greater than 0. If, whoops, item.id is greater than 0 and then any m.id is equal to item.id. Okay, this means we have a match. Item is existing. We checked for greater than 0 because if it's not greater than 0 or it is 0, then we're just going to call it a new move regardless. But otherwise, if it is, then we need to check if allow update is true. If allow update, then let's go ahead and update it. So we're just going to say moves, and then we want the index of this item. So this will be moves dot index of item. I guess we could just say moves dot contains, right? Move dot. Oh, but it wouldn't be an exact match. So we want to get the item. So moves dot index of, and this will be, we need this item here. So let's say var existing equals moves dot. We could just say get, right? Yeah, we could say var existing equals get, and we'll just pass in item.id. Okay, so and existing does not equal null then. This should not matter, but we're just adding it for safety. All right, so and existing does not equal null, then we have a match, item is existing. If allow update, then we're going to say we need the index of the existing item. So moves index of existing item equals item. So that's going to update it. Then we can just return the item ID. Otherwise, we are going to grab the last item. So var new ID equals moves.order by m.id.last. We want the last one, dot ID plus 1. Okay, what does this do? This goes into all of these, everything in the moves list. It's going to get the last ID, so this will order it ascending, so like 1, 2, 3, 10, 25, whatever. Get the last one and add one. We're going to make that this new moves ID, so we'll say item.id equals new ID, and then we're going to add it to the moves list. Dot add item, and we'll return this item.id, or just new ID, they're the same thing. So in fact, we don't need new ID, like the variable new ID. So let's just say item.id equals this, get rid of that new ID line, and return this. And actually, I put this in the wrong place. We don't want it in here, we want it out here. Okay, so var existing is this, and then we're going to check if the ID is greater than 0 and existing is not null. If ID is 0 or less, we're going to treat it like a new item. So we don't really care about existing at that point, but so if ID is null and existing is not null, then we are going to check to see if we can update. If we cannot update, then we are just going to return -1. And otherwise, so this handles both cases. Otherwise, we're just going to update the existing item. So let's make that a comment, update existing item. Nope, this is a new item. So we're going to add new item. Update is here. Update existing item. Okay, add new item, update existing. So back to our battle monster repository, we are going to give Bulbasaur tackle and growl. So let's give him tackle and growl. We need our, we'll give him null for now. Why doesn't it like that? Cannot convert null literal to non-null reference type. I don't think that's true. I think we handled that, right? When we go into a battle monster, if you pass in null, it's going to give it struggle. Yeah, it's fine. Let's do battle monster. So that's like 2 and 3 are taken. So then 4 is Charmander. He is a fire type. And let's get his base stats real quick. Stats. Okay, 39, 52, 43, and 65. 39, 52, 43, and 65. Did I nail it? 39, 52, 43, 65. Yep. All right, and then we'll just give him a null move list also. And then the last one we'll do is Squirtle. So that's 4, 5, and 6. So then 7, Squirtle. And he is water. And let's check his moves, stats, not moves. Forty-four, 48, 65, and 43. 44, 48, 65, 43. All right. 44, 48, 65, 43. And null. Okay, so that gives us our first 3 starter Pokemon. Now we need the same retrieval, well, all the CRUD operations. We need all the same implementations, basically. So get is going to do the same thing as the battle move. It's going to just return this here. And it's actually going to be identical. So we could have a base repository so we don't have to keep doing all the same things over again. So let's make a new class. This will be a base repository. This base repository will pass the T along, so I repository. And this is where T is a class and I identifiable. And it is going to be abstract. And these will remain, well, this doesn't have to be, I guess just this one needs to be implemented at the child level now. So we don't need this. Let's see, is that true? Save, let's see, is there anything on here? No. All right. The only thing here that is specific to moves is the items list. Everything else is actually pretty open. It's just checking the ID. Yeah, check that out. So let's copy all of this. We're actually going to cut it. Let's cut all of this. We'll come back to that. We're going to put it here, and we're going to change this to T. We'll change this to T. Everything that says like battle move, we're changing to T. Then we're going to make a protected iList of T's. So this iList, and it's going to be items. Get, and we're gonna make we're gonna make the children override this. And I guess we don't have to use like the underscore since it's not really private. And then let's just take all these moves and change it to items. And then this basically handles everything. I mean, all we have to do at the child level now, like in battle move repository, is a base repository, and this will be a protected override list of items. And this needs to be an iList because its parent is an iList. It actually needs like a get, right? Get set or something. Let's see, just a get. So we'll do get. There you go. And let's do override. There we go. So protected override iList battle move items, new battle moves, and boom, its parent will operate on this. And so same thing here, actually. So let's just get rid of this. Let's make you a base repository. Let's make you items. You need to have get, and you're going to be a protected abstract iList. And that protected abstract iList battle monster items. Oh, override, not abstract. That was my mistake. Override. There we go. It doesn't like this, but it doesn't matter. All right, I want to get a battle going before we conclude. So let's do that. So in the program, where are you? Here. You need some battle monsters. And so we need the monster repository, which we need a reference to the monster repository. So console add reference. And you need the repository and eventually the services. I'll leave it out because we haven't done anything. Let that do its thing. And let's grab that repository. So var, we'll just call it a monster repository equals new battle monster repository. And bring in that namespace. We also need that move repository equals new battle move repository. And this is where we're going to like set those things. So like player one party, he's just going to have a Bulbasaur. So just add Bulbasaur. All of these Pokemon are going to basically start at level 1. So let's just set equals 1 on the level property of the class. We can change that later, of course, and when we're starting to track player progress, we can save that in a database. But for now, everybody's level 1. Bulbasaur is, maybe we pass in the reference to this repository, to the battle monster repository. So let's say move repository. I don't really like doing that though. I guess for now we can. I mean, it's going to be easy to change if we need to. But then that is ultimately, um, I just don't like doing that. I'm not going to do that. That could be something like a factory or something. A factory could be the one responsible for that. But for now, let's just grab Bulbasaur. So let's say monster repository dot oh yeah, get, and Bulbasaur was number 1. Possible null reference. I mean, technically, but it's not going to be null. Um, dot value, I guess. No. Here, var Bulbasaur equals monster repository dot get 1, and then Charmander equals monster repository dot get, and it wasn't 2, it was like so 1 2 3, so he was number 4, and player 1 will get Bulbasaur, and player 2 battle monster, add Charmander. Okay, and neither of these have moves right now, so let's add these moves. Um, Bulbasaur.move list equals new. Well, it already is a new move list. And in fact, it has struggle, which is fine. Everybody's going to know struggle. But this one is .add, and this is, let's grab references to tackle and growl. Var tackle equals move repository.get. Tackle is 2, and var growl equals move repository.get 3. And so then Bulbasaur.add tackle and growl. Bulbasaur.movelist.add growl as well. And we're going to do the same thing to Charmander. I mean, you're saying like, hey, I might be null. All right, and then Charmander.movelist.add, and you're going to add tackle. And Charmander.movelist.add, and you're going to add growl. All right, so both of them know the same thing, but they have different like defense and stuff. And then they can fight. And so let's send that to the battle manager. Battle manager dot start battle between player 1 and player 2. And then if we press run, we should see that a battle has started between player 1, well, AI player 1 and AI player 2. That's right, we stopped current because current and max are basically the same. All right, starting battle between AI player 1 and AI player 2. All right, so there we are. We have a battle started. And let's list out their like their parties. So we'll say system.console. Well, we don't have to like write a new line. We can just do it right in here. Player 1 and player 2. And then we can make a new line. Whoops. That's like \n and then tab slash like \t, and we'll say player 1.name party. And we'll list out the party here. So let's player 1.party. I guess we'll add like a let's say let's add a method, list party, which we don't have yet, but we will. And then new line, new line, new line, and then we'll do like new line tab player 2.name party. Uh, new line tab dash player 2 dot list party again. And that's basically going to work there. Let's go to our player, base player, and it needs a function, public virtual string list party. And that should kind of solve that error, but we need to actually list the party. So let's do that. So let's return a new string, and we should use a string builder. So var sb equals new string builder. And then we can say for each var monster, I guess, in party. Well, if party is null, then there is no party, right? So if party is equal to null, then we will return let's say like name is out of Pokemon battle monsters. I feel like we could just do Pokemon, doesn't matter. Anyway, name is out of battle monsters. But otherwise, then we'll just say sb.append, and this will be monster.name. In fact, why don't we do this? We'll do monster name and then like LV and then monster.level, like they do kind of in the game. There we go. So monster.name space and then LV. I think they do a period. I don't know. Do they? LV1. I don't think they do. Well, let's do it. It doesn't matter. Level 1 or 2 or whatever it is. And also append line, I think we should do, if that's a thing. It is. All right. And then we will return sb.toString. So this is going to give us the party. So now if we rerun this, we should see that player 1 has a Charmander that's level 1. No, a Bulbasaur that's level 1, and player 2 has a Charmander that's level 1. Yeah. AI player 1's party is a Bulbasaur level 1, and AI player 2's party is a Charmander level 1. Perfect. All right. That's going to be it for today. Well, for now, I think I am going to try to jump on again later this evening. But if not, I'm going to shoot for tomorrow. But either way, I'll keep you posted. You should wait 1 second. Do you focus on memory allocation as a beginner? Should I focus more into it? Yeah. So that's one. That's a good call out. This string builder, for example, is much faster than just concatenating strings. So if you were doing like a for loop, like this for each, if we weren't going to do this string builder, but instead, let's say we were, you don't actually have to type this because this is like bad practice, but var response or something equals string.empty. Let's say we wanted to just say response plus equals monster.name. Well, let's do this whole string, right? Like we could keep everything the same. Plus equals this, but now we actually want to append a new line ourselves. Um, this is incredibly slower than using a string builder. String builder is going to just add to its own class, and then it will do the toString at the end. This is toStringing each time through the iteration. So as we have 1 or 2 or 3 or even just 6, it's not a big deal. But string builder is always way faster. So we do care about memory usage and allocation, and we care about code speed. Does that answer your question? perhaps the other thing you're asking is like, do we want to hold these variables through for the entire duration of the program? Right now, yes, because we're really early in, so we only have two moves and two repositories. But the reason your question is actually so good, we player one, player two, we do want for the duration of the battle. But once we do our setup, which will be in its own method, and we get out of the scope of that method, we'll release the memory on these because we don't need the monster repository for the whole time. We only need it for a setup. Same with the move repository. So when we're grabbing, tackle, and growl, and eventually the other ones, when we initialize our uh, battle monsters or our Pokemon, we'll give them their move list, and then we'll release whatever memory we've allocated for the repositories and the initializations of those entire lists. If you remember, each repository has a list. Right now, those lists are small, but they're not going to stay small. So no, you're right. We don't want to retain that memory allocation through the entire program, only while we're using it, and then we're going to give it away. Uh, but yeah, that is it for today. Well, for now. I would encourage that you, follow. I see that you did, Khaled. Thank you for that. But any future viewers, I'd encourage you to follow the channel. There's also like a Facebook for Coder Jams. There's a Twitter, but I'm not very active on the Twitter. But I have Facebook set up. Thank you so much for the kind words, Khaled. Yeah, I try. I'm gonna try to keep up on on like the Facebook page so that I can let you know when streams are coming in advance rather than just kind of turn it on. But there's also a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel is the primary. That's where we do. My wife and I are doing like an intro to C Sharp uh, series on there, and so she's actually brand new as well to programming, and so she's basically the voice of the viewer because I don't really know. It's hard for me to put my brain back to when I started to where like, hey, maybe I need to explain this a little further. And that's the benefit of having viewers in real time participating is they can ask those questions. But when we don't have that, my wife asks incredible questions, so she takes care of that, and then we get that in the recording, and hopefully that provides a little more utility for the viewer. Anyway, yep. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.